Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and we're going back to the newspaper strips today to talk about another Star Wars newspaper strip by Archie Goodwin and Al Williamson. And today it's going to be Darth Vader Strikes. Now, you can find this in Classic Star Wars, or you can get the trade, Classic Star Wars Volume 1. The volume number is actually on the back here, and it is within here. Also forgot to mention earlier, a few other of our newspaper strips are found in this as well. So this story again ran in the newspapers from April to July in 1981, and it feels recycled. And it's kind of because it's a common theme that you see you'll see in the next episode as well, and it's kind of a recurring one, and it's that of betrayal. Now, basically, how the story goes. There are these Imperial officers, and they are angry at Darth Vader. They're not happy with his leadership at all, and they decide, you know what? Let's take him down. This guy's horrible. This guy sucks. Like we're gonna take him down. And so this is all while the Executor, which is the Super Star Destroyer, which is also Darth Vader's personal Star Destroyer, it's being constructed, or still being constructed at this point. It won't be finished until right before Empire Strikes Back, or near Empire Strikes Back. We're still in probably about 1 or 1 ABY. Anyways, so it kind of ties into The Force Unleashed, because The Force Unleashed, which happens shortly before New Hope, references that the Executor is under construction. So kind of a cool continuity thing there. So Darth Vader has basically faked this ruse with an admiral named Griff, and basically Vader is pretending that he's pissed with this guy, and this allows Griff to kind of get in with these officers. And so Griff is like, "Here's what we'll do: we're going to radio the rebellion." And basically tell them that, hey, I want to betray Darth Vader. Like, we want to betray Darth Vader, so Vader can in turn take these guys out. Because Vader's not stupid, right? He knows, that these guys are going after him. So basically, that's kind of the setup there. So we then cut to Yavin 4, or the Rebel base. Luke Skywalker is very jealous of Han Solo because he is scoring with Princess Leia. And again, it's very weird. I just recently reread it in here before this review, and it's very weird and very strange. And just because you know that they're brother and sister, and yes, we know that they didn't know yet, and the writers didn't know yet, but I don't know. I just wish, someone like George Lucas or Lucasfilm or someone said, hey, maybe pull back on that just a little. But of course, as we've established, there really wasn't too much desire for continuity in the early days. It wasn't as big of an effort, I should say, than it was later on, especially in the 90s. So anyways, Luke's jealous of Han, and so he thinks that, Leia likes the cool guys, like the adventurous, the risk takers. So he decides to one-up Han and leaves to go on this mission to try and meet up with Griff, who's radioed them. And he says something like, Han's like, hey, be careful, don't accept dangerous assignments, you shouldn't be doing this. And Luke's like, well, it'll get me out of the way for you. And it's kind of like, ooh, trust me, Luke, Han, you don't want Leia. Anyways, so Luke goes with the droids. They go meet Griff. They bump into this girl named Tanith, who thinks that Luke is extremely cute, and hilarity ensues, and you're going to have to find out for yourself, because I do not want to spoil it for you. So going into the story, I will give a spoiler alert that the next time we talk about the newspaper strips, it will be talking about the ending, because the next story, The Serpent Masters, picks right up where this one left off. So just a heads up there when that episode does come out. But here's the thing. With this story, is this an essential Star Wars read? No, I do think it is an essential newspaper strip, though. If you are going to go through classic Star Wars and do all the newspaper strips, this one is probably worth your time, because again, it sets up the Serpent Masters in the next newspaper strip. Here's what's kind of cool, though, about this story and a lot of others, is that Ryder Winneman who's a great EU author. He's one of my favorites. As a kid, I read like a lot of his young adult books and all that stuff. Um, he wrote a lot of these life of books. There was The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader. There was The Life and Times of Obi-Wan Kenobi's. I think The Wrath of Darth Maul is what it was called. It's back there somewhere. Yep, The Wrath of Darth Maul. And A New Hope, The Life of Luke Skywalker. This is one right. This one right here. And what's really cool, this is the inside here. But what's really cool about this story, or this book, is that Ryder Wenham puts a lot of the newspaper strips in this book. For example, this story is in here. In fact, there's a lot of Marvel stories that we'll talk about. There's just so many. There's just so cool how it came in here. And so for me as a kid, this was the first way I really experienced the newspaper strips as a kid. So it was really interesting to go through this and to read this. And then to go back later as an adult after I collected all these and read them in their entirety instead of just kind of a abbreviated version. But it was really cool that Ryder Wenham threw that in. So if you don't want to read the full version and you have this is another way to get it, but it is not the full version. It's kind of like a retelling of events. There's a few things in here that might be worth your time, but we'll talk about this more when we get to it, when I'm 35,000 years old. So anyways, I would also recommend, though, pick up the trades if you can. Marvel's been putting them out in the Legends Epic Collection, so they're really easy to get right now. You can go and try and get the trades or the single issues, but honestly, the Epic Collection might be your best bet. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So hope you enjoyed the review, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on another episode of the Star Wars Library.